Welcome back to another Thursday where we do our live stream. So today we are going to spend a little time with the puppies, of course, because they're growing every week. As you can tell, they're getting bigger and bigger. And then we'll answer some questions, and then we will move over to the grooming table and we'll get a couple of dogs and show you guys some basic tips and tricks that we use for grooming our dogs. Right now everybody is starting to shed, so we thought it would be a perfect time to show you guys what it's like to own a Klee Kai. Maybe for some of you that already have a Klee Kai and you just want to know, what the best practices are or what we use. So we'll go over some of that. So welcome. Hi everybody, and we are going to start off with just kind of showing you guys the puppies. Look it. Hopefully you guys can hear him. Are you gonna talk? You're gonna tell everybody? Yeah? Okay. So hopefully everybody was on whenever we we asked for puppy names. We did pick out some names for the puppies, and so you guys will be excited. This little guy who's barking at us right now, that is Hulk. Hulk says he's ready. He's ready to go, huh, buddy? So we went with Hercules right here, and then little Hulky, huh, buddy? And their sister is Heaven. So you guys that picked out those names, thank you, we appreciate it. And that is Cashmere's letter. So for those of you that might be new, we name our puppies by the letter of the alphabet, and this was an H litter. And so we asked everybody for input, and those were the H names that we picked out. And then we also named the I litter, and that is Bella's litter. And so we did 3 eyes, and we have, come here, Mamash. Let's see who's who. The 2 black and whites look almost identical, and one of them is Isla. If I could see who it is, it's you, little Miss Isla. And then we have Iris and Izzy. So you guys picked out all 3 of those names as well, and so that was a lot of fun. Thank you guys. And I know in a few weeks, obviously, we have new puppies again, so we'll be asking for the next letter in the alphabet. So if you guys have any names, we will be asking you that probably next week, so get prepared. And of course, as always, my daughter's here, Alexis, so she is going to read off any questions that we have, so that I can stay here and answer those questions for you guys. So Alexis, do we have anything?
No.
Okay, perfect. So one thing I do want to talk about quickly is something that came up today, and it was, so this is what 3-week-olds are. They are pretty vocal now. They have learned that they can talk, and they like to tell each other all about it. So hopefully you guys can hear us over that. But one thing that came up today that I really appreciate from somebody named Sarah is she reached out to me on Facebook and let me know that somebody was stealing our photos from Instagram or Facebook and pretending like they were their puppies and trying to scam people out of a deposit. And so thank goodness she was kind of leery of the person, because for one, the price was a lot lower than our normal prices are for just in general for the breed, and secondly, they had puppies available, right? But she did a reverse lookup on photos, which I really wasn't even aware you could do, and she found out that those pictures belonged to us, and so she reached out to us right away. But for anybody who is just joining the live stream, that you're thinking about getting a Klee Kai, maybe not on a waiting list yet, it's something to be aware of, that there are people out there that will try to scam people out of a deposit or out of even the full amount. And so be very careful of that. Just make sure that if it's too good to be true, probably is. And if you aren't sure if they're a legitimate breeder, then make sure that you reach out to other breeders and ask them, or go to ACAOA's website, and ACAOA is AKKAOA.org, and it's Alaskan Klee Kai Association of America, and they have a list of breeders that are members of ACAOA. Not every breeder is a member of ACAOA, because we do have to pay for that membership. But for the most part, most of them are on there, and if they're not on there, you can always ask somebody who is on there if this person that you are in communication with is really a legitimate breeder. So keep that in mind for any of you that is just kind of searching for a puppy, and we just don't want anybody to obviously get scammed. So that I thought was something good to share. How are we doing?
Are Klee Kai big barkers or mostly talkers and growlers?
They're mostly talkers. They like to talk and howl and whine. They do like to cry, but they're not really a dog that's just going to sit and bark at nothing. So I wouldn't say they're the best at protecting, but they are going to let you know if somebody's knocking at the door, or if somebody's walking by and they run over to the fence. But they're not just big barkers, but they're pretty vocal breeds, so they can be obnoxious and tell you all about their day.
At what age can you estimate the size the dog will be?
So we do our puppy offers when they're 4 weeks old, and so we give an estimate on what we think they're going to be based on just our experience in the breed, and we've been breeding them for a long time, so we have a pretty good idea, but we're not always right, and no breeder would really commit to that because they do throw us for a loop once in a while, so we may think we know, and then all of a sudden they stop growing or they have a huge growth spurt and they grow a lot. So there's no real guarantee, but every breeder is going to be a little different. It's not necessarily based on the size of the parents because we've never bred the dogs toy to toy, mini to mini, and so on. So based on generations back, we can have standards give us toys, toys give us standards. We can actually get all three sizes in the same litter. So good question, but it's really hard to know for sure. Toys are pretty easy to pinpoint because they're really, really small, and the big ones are really easy to pinpoint because they're going to be so big. But everything in between, like large toy to small mini, is really hard to just really be able to identify, and same for large mini to small standard, so it can be difficult.
Do you use flea collars or any preventative measures? Do you suggest them?
We do not use flea collars, however we do use flea treatment. We never used to, and we actually have pest control come out every 2 months, but we found that of course whenever you go hiking and go do different things out in, outside of your home, that you can bring things back if you go to dog parks, if your dog is going to doggy daycare, anything like that. So we definitely recommend it. We use Advantex and Advantage, depending, because obviously our situation's a little different. We've got maybe dogs that are pregnant or breeding, and so they can't have Advantex, so they use Advantage, and then everybody else is Advantex. But we definitely recommend that you do put your dog on something, because especially depending where you live. Here in California, we don't have a big problem with ticks and Lyme disease, but if you're in an area that does, you definitely want to have something on them for that as well.
The puppies have their first set of shots upon pickup. What are the rest of the medical procedures they will that they will need to have, and at what age?
So they'll have their first set of shots, and then when they go home, they're going to need an additional 2 to 3 sets of shots, which will depend on your area. So we try to get our vet to do that. We give our shots as close to 8 weeks as possible. And hopefully that means they only need a total of 3 sets, so 2 more after that. But some areas are a little different, and they'll say they want a total of 4 sets, and so it also depends on how far apart you spread those. And we're not a vet, so we're gonna say go off of what your vet recommends. But it'll be a total of 3 to 4 sets of shots, and then they'll need their rabies in addition to that. The other things that they're going to need is obviously their flea or tick treatment, their rabies when they're 4 months old, and then their spay or neuter by the time they're a year old. Again, every breeder's a little different. We do require that to happen before they're a year old, so that's what's in our contract. And aside from that, then it's just annual. You'll just need to do vaccines once a year. And rabies, after their first one, it'll be every 3 years. Oh, and they'll be microchipped. Our puppies are all microchipped, so you'll just need to register that microchip once you get your puppy. So you'll register the chip as well, so that way, if anything happens, they know who the puppy belongs to.
This one's kind of the same thing, but what vaccinations do you do before the puppies leave for their new home? Is Neopar included?
Neopar is a brand, a manufacturer maybe, but that might be the Parvo if I'm guessing correctly. And so yeah, if it is the Parvo, then yes, they'll have Parvo. They'll have it's a 6-in-1. I think 5 or 6-in-1. We don't do lepto because they're a small dog, so we don't do lepto. But they'll have Corona, they'll have Parvo, they'll have antivirus, parafluenza. I don't know all these names, but it's the normal 5 or 6-in-1 puppy shots that they get, with the exception of lepto. And then one other thing I forgot to mention is Bordetella. You will probably want to have Bordetella done. It's once a year. And depending on your vet, either it'll be through the nose, it's a spray, or it could be a vaccine. And Bordetella is for kennel cough. So if you're going to do any boarding, if you're going to doggy daycare, if you're going to dog parks, you'll definitely want to have that as well. But at 8 weeks, it's a little too early to do that. So you'll do that like their 3rd or 4th set.
She said, yeah, it's Parvo.
Yeah. So yeah, they'll definitely have their first set of Parvo before they leave here, but you'll need at least 2 more sets of that as well, possibly 3, depending on your vet and your area.
How do you know the age of a Klee Kai?
How do you know the age?
Well,
Like-
how can you know a Klee Kai's age?
If you're just wanting to know, like, say somebody has a dog, but maybe, I'm not sure what your question is, but if it's like a dog that is in a rescue or an older dog that you're trying to determine that's going to be something maybe your vet could help you with, but it's going to determine like their teeth. The vet will look at them to identify, but there's not a real way to know for sure. If you're talking like just random dogs that you see, I'm not sure. If you want to clarify, maybe I could help answer that.
You have Zach George's training guide on your site. Any other sites, apps, books you recommend?
I mean, any training that you can find for any northern breed, especially Siberian Huskies, is going to be helpful. So obviously our breed is pretty new and rare, and so there's not a lot of training and stuff out there, but anything that's going to be related to Siberian Huskies or any northern breeds, as far as like their temperament, the stubbornness, the howling, the grooming, is going to be similar. There's some differences, obviously. Big dog, small dog, and personalities and things are going to be a little different, but in general, training a puppy is training a puppy. So anything that you can find on training a puppy is going to be very beneficial for you. But I love Zach George's stuff, and so of course I recommend it because I like to go to his stuff. But anything you can find, and that's why we're also trying to do as many videos as we can for you guys, because we realize there's not a lot out there, especially specific for this breed and using this breed as the example. So we are trying to do our best to give you guys that information. It's just hard because when you're trying to film dogs and you want them to do a certain thing, they don't always do what you want them to do. But so anyways, if you guys have any specific things that you want to see or learn, then of course put them in the comments below, because we do look at that stuff and we try to do our best to add it to the list and eventually get to everything, but it all takes time.
Is it more difficult to train boy dogs using the pee pads versus females?
No, I wouldn't say so. Both boys and girls use the pee pads. I think when they get older, it's a little harder, just because boys usually will learn to hike their leg. And so as they get older, if they are going to hike their leg, you're not going to be able to use a pee pad. But if it's a temporary thing, not at all. If it's a long-term thing, it's going to be a little more difficult for you to have a male dog in the house that you aren't going to be able to take outside, and that you're going to always be teaching him to go to the restroom inside, for sure. So if that's the case, I would recommend that you have at least a patio or a balcony that you have secure, that you're able to take them out to, because most boys, especially if you're walking them, taking them out, they're gonna learn to hike their leg. And so then how are they gonna hike their leg to pee on a pee pad?
What are Izzy and the other black and white pup's eyes?
Can you go get Rudolph for me? Say that again.
What color are Izzy and the other black and white pup's eyes?
So they are 3 weeks old, and so it's a little hard to tell. If you're on our waiting list, we just posted new pictures today, and one of them is going to be double brown, but right now you can see a little speck of blue in there still. My guess is that she's going to turn double brown, and then that's Iris. And then the other one is, right now she has one blue eye and one party eye. I don't know what's going to happen with that party eye. So that party eye could turn brown. It could stay party, which a party eye, for those of you who may not know, is 2 colors within the same eye. So in one eye she's got some blue and some brown, and that may stay the same. And party eyes are probably the hardest for us to really determine at a young age, because they change for months to come. And so you'll have a puppy at 8 weeks that barely will have a speck of brown or a speck of blue, and then it could change for 3 or 4 months down the road. So those are going to be the hardest. So we don't really know for sure yet. Usually by 4 weeks, that's pretty good idea for us to tell. But party eyes, again, are the hardest for us to really identify.
Does the color of the parents make a change on what color the baby would be?
So for example, we just had well, let's just use these guys for example. So we have an all white puppy. Both parents are gray and white. Of course, as a breeder, we know a lot of, like, if they can produce a gray, if they can produce a red, if they can produce a white. And so we have an idea, but we could get anything. So, like, for example, they're both gray, but this little puppy is white. Now, both of her brothers are gray. And on these 3 here, they're also a litter, and there's 1 red and 2 black and whites. And the dad is black and white, and the mom is red and white. And so we got 1 red, and then we got 2 blacks. So that's with that situation, but we can have 2 black and white parents produce grays, produce reds, even produce whites, although I think that's probably pretty rare. But we know if our dog carries the red gene. So if they carry the red gene and we breed it to a dog that has the red gene, we can get red puppies. If they don't carry the red gene, we won't get any red puppies. But we can get reds even if they don't have the red color, just as long as they have the red gene. So it gets a little tricky, and a lot of genetics go into that. So we've learned a lot over the years, but it doesn't always matter what color the parents are, it just matters on genetics.
Will the red have blue or brown eyes?
She's blue-eyed. So for those of you who saw the pictures that we posted today, you could tell clear as day she's very, very blue-eyed. And then you could see that her sisters are not, they don't have that bright blue like she has. So that's how you can tell, like, who's got the blue eyes and who is probably not going to stay double blue. And you can tell, like, if the color looks blue, but then in some pictures it looks kind of dark, that's going to give you a hint that they're probably not going to be blue. You got to keep in mind, just like newborn babies, they appear to have blue eyes, and then as the film is removed off of the eye, as they start to continue to develop, then you're going to start to see more brighter blue, or darker, and then it'll turn to a brown or a green. A lot of the puppies that have green eyes that look blue at first, they really have a purple tint to them, and they end up turning green.
Can a new puppy at 8 weeks play with my brother's puppy who is 12 weeks old?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So we encourage you to socialize your puppy and introduce your puppy to as many other dogs, cats, other animals that you can as soon as possible. Of course, we want it to be in a controlled environment, and you want to make sure that they're clean and healthy and vaccinated. But if you know of people, even if it's neighbors, that you can trust to socialize and interact, definitely as much as you can do it.
Do you have any suggestions for socialization given the social distancing guidelines still in place? What about for future parents that are moving to a new city soon and have fewer social networks?
So a lot of socializing doesn't necessarily have to be hands-on, direct interaction with somebody. Socializing is sometimes, I did a video on this because a lot of times people associate socializing with, oh yeah, I socialize because I play with my parents' dogs and I take them over to my best friend's house, and so they're socialized a lot. But reality is that's not really true socializing, because they're going to always be good now with your friends and your family's dogs, but are they going to be good with the stranger's dog down the street? Are they going to be good with high-rise buildings? Are they going to be good when trains go by or horns are honked or people are screaming or kids are yelling? So socializing is really introducing your dog to several things, basically to our world as a human. Like, what are we surrounded by? You want your puppy to be introduced to all of that. So this means you can be walking, even if it's social distancing, you're still able to go on walks. You're still able to introduce your puppy to a train horn or a car horn or kids walking by or riding their bike by. So socializing is so much more than just interacting with other people and your friends' dogs. So you're able to do that still, even with social distancing. Another good idea is to have your puppy on a really long leash. They sell 20-25 foot leashes, and if you put your puppy on that, and even if you sit out front, like on your driveway, and your puppy is on that and you're at a distance from anybody who walks by, your puppy's still going to be introduced to people walking by, noises, and then if somebody is walking by with their dog, you're able to control your puppy, right? You have a leash, so you can control how far they can go, but you can always ask them, hey, can you do me a favor? Do you think that you could kneel down and let my puppy sniff you? Or is your dog friendly? You know, if they have a dog, that way your dog can still walk over to them and be socialized and be, you know, introduced to other people. Different people wear hats, sunglasses, different types of clothes, different voices, men, women, kids. So you can do that, and then just walking down the street or going in the car and driving through Starbucks, like, you're able to socialize just by letting your puppy stick his head out the window while you pick up your Starbucks drink. So there's a lot of ways that you can do it even with social distancing. That was really long. Sorry.
Do they have noticeable personalities yet, or are they still essentially fuzzy potatoes? Don't need details, just curious on how much they change week to week.
They are starting to really develop personalities, and if you were on like 10 minutes ago, you heard little Hulk over here just growling and barking and getting vocal, and then his brother chimed in. So the older of the three, which is the white and these two grays, they are starting to develop personalities, and they're all asleep right now, but hopefully they'll wake up soon. Because they're at that age now where they growl and bite each other, and they're starting to really become playful. So yes, they are starting, but just barely. And then of course the younger three, they're just fuzzy little cute potatoes.
Can you tell the eye color of Hercules and Hulk? It seems Hercules would be bi-eyed.
Hercules actually has one blue eye and one party eye right now, but even his blue eye, I'm kind of iffy on because it looks a little dark on one side, so I'm not sure. And then that was Hercules. And then on Hulk, I haven't taken him into the sunlight, so in our home it's always kind of dark and it's harder to see, but with the flash he looks blue-eyed. However, if I don't have the flash, it doesn't look like both are double blue. He does look like he has a party in one eye, but it's a really small party if it is a party. So that's why at this point it's still a little early to tell. By next week we'll know for sure, probably by the weekend. Where are you going? you almost fell backwards.
How much do the H dogs weigh?
They are a little over, well, he's the smallest, so he's not even 2 pounds yet. He's almost 2 pounds. And then these two are a little chunkier. So they're a little over 2. I think it's like 2.4 and 2.6, something like that. So a couple potatoes. Huh.
What what chew toys would you recommend?
So you want a variety of different toys and bones because they get bored of things really fast. So you want squeakers, you want the kind that you can stuff with things that is going to entertain them for a long time. You want the crinkly sound ones that just make sounds that are going to entertain them. But as many different things as you can pick out, you want because they get bored. And for my favorite rawhide chew thing is going to be bully sticks that entertains them for a long time. There's a lot of different brands of bully sticks and they're not all made the same. Okay, hopefully you guys could see these too. That was cute. Let's see if they'll get down here and do that. So some of them are hollow in the center, some of them are very thin and the dogs just devour them, and some of them are really good quality and they last a long time. So you'll want to do your research. If you buy it on Amazon, you're going to want to make sure that you check all of the reviews. We also have the link in our website because we've gone through so many different ones. So we do have a link on our website of the puppy supplies of the ones that we like. Just full disclosure, of course, it's an affiliate link, so we get a 3% or something like that commission if you guys did buy it off of ours, but just for full disclosure. But everything on there either we use or we recommend because we have tried it or used it, so we know that they are good for the breed.
Do you have a sense of how big the H puppies will get?
None of them are going to be toys. Little Hercules right now is the smallest, and I think he's probably going to stay the smallest, so I think he'll probably be a small mini, and I'll have to really double check next week once I weigh him again at 4 weeks to know for sure. But the other two are a lot bigger, so they're going to probably be large mini to small standard. Again, I don't know for sure yet just because they're a little young still, but they won't be toys. I don't know. These guys, the younger ones here, they're a little smaller, so they might be smaller, but these guys are bigger.
How can you tell who's who?
Because I'm with them every day. My husband says that too. He's like, how do you know which one's which? They have different looks and they're different sizes, and so I can tell because of that. And so like you can see in here, like if you look at their backs, like you see a big difference in the color. Can they see that?
Yep.
So you can see a big difference. So this guy here is the lighter one, he's the bigger one, and that's Hulk. And Hercules is a darker gray, and he's smaller. So you could see a lot of differences when you look at them that way. I know when they're just laying there, they probably look very similar, but now you can hopefully see, so you can see the difference in the head, the difference in the coloring, the difference in the paws. Like if you see that, hopefully you can see that as well. You'll see that Hulk's paws are quite a bit bigger than his brothers. And then with these two little girls, this is a little harder because if you just look at their markings, they're almost identical. But one's a little bigger, one's coat is a little thicker, their eyes are different, so you could tell by that. Her ears, her head, everything is smaller than hers. So these two I kind of have to look to see because I'm like, wait, who's who? But once I do, then I know. Like she's got more white on her than she does, and she's smaller. And then the red's easy, the white's easy.
Hi, I'm 13 and really nervous on getting my new Klee Kai puppy. What other tips do you have upon bringing our puppy home other than your video?
Well, hi, welcome. What's her name?
His name. Vince.
His name? What is this?
Vince.
Vince. Hi, Vince. I'm so happy you're getting a Klee Kai. You are going to love a Klee Kai puppy. Some of the things that you're going to want to make sure you do is be consistent in your training. So be consistent in your commands, whatever word that you choose to use for everything. Always use the same one or else you're going to confuse your puppy. The other really good tip is make sure you crate train your puppy. If you don't crate train your puppy, you're going to create a monster and they will get into things that they shouldn't be getting into. So you want to make sure that you treat your puppy as a toddler. So you wouldn't leave a toddler unattended. You wouldn't let them roam the house and just get into things. So same for a puppy. You don't want to do that. Crate training and socialize a lot and make sure there's rules and boundaries. Like if you don't give them rules and boundaries, then they're going to walk all over you and they're going to destroy your house and they're going to pee in your house and eat your books and everything like that. So just make sure that you do all of those things and socialize them, but remember they're still a dog, so they still need time in their crate. They still need to be alone every day for a short amount of time so that they don't develop so they don't develop separation anxiety. This breed can have separation anxiety, or at least that's what we like to label it as, is separation anxiety, because they cry for us, or they don't want to go in their crate, and we give in to that, and so we associate a lot of that with why can't I say that? I keep wanting to say socialization. We associate a lot of that with separation anxiety, but a lot of it has to do with training and you being strict and stick to your guns.
Do you have a sense about Hercules' temperament?
No, not yet. So next week, I'm assuming that's somebody on our waiting list. Next week, or this weekend actually, I'll be doing a video of them, just the three of them, because they'll really start to play in the next couple of days, and then we'll be able to really gauge it a lot more. But they're all really playful. Of course, you can't see that now because they're tired. Hopefully they wake up. But a couple more days, they'll really, every day they're gonna keep growing and growing.
Do you think having a radio on while you're away is a helpful way with separation anxiety?
We don't do that just because someone's home a lot, but I have read and seen that people either will play videos, like YouTube has a bunch of videos that are specific for calming dogs down. So people do it. I've never experienced it, so I'm not for sure, but I have read that it works for some dogs, so it's very possible that it could. You would just have to try it and see, but definitely not a bad idea.
Did babies wake up?
Since puppies will be up for adoption next week, do you know anything about the airports?
I haven't called yet, and I will call before we do puppy offers just to make sure that we are able to ship, but I haven't done that yet.
That's it for now.
Yay!
Oh,
Okay, what?
I got another one. What do you recommend for a puppy diet? How much and how often should they eat?
So a lot of it depends on the weight of the puppy, but they usually are eating 3 times a day until they are around 4 pounds. Once they're at 4 pounds, then they will eat twice a day. Watch out, Mama. And that way you can adjust your schedules and you don't have to worry so much about coming home at lunchtime if you guys are working. But under that, you really want to try to feed them 3 times a day, just because they're young. I mean, they're small, and so they don't eat as much food, which means they can have low blood sugar, and they could become hypoglycemic. So it's really important when they're tiny to make sure that they're fed 3 times a day. Other than that, twice a day. And the amount will depend again on the puppy, but it's usually, for us, it's between a quarter cup to third a cup, 2 to 3 times a day, depending on that puppy. And then of course, as they keep growing, you're going to keep increasing that amount. We only feed dry food, and only recommend dry food, because once you start feeding canned or soft food, unless you're going to go raw, but if you are just going to feed kibble, either canned or dry, I recommend you feed dry, because you're going to spoil them with the can, and then they'll never eat dry kibble. Additionally, the canned food can eliminate them from being able to self-clean their teeth when they're chewing, so then it's even harder for you to clean their teeth, that kind of thing. So we don't like canned food. Plus it gives them loose poop.
When is the next delivery? Do all the parents have the red factor?
Not all of our parents have the red factor, but a lot of them do. And we are hoping to have a litter towards the end of June, maybe 2 litters. I'm not positive yet because it's the beginning of June, so it's kind of hard to tell. Hopefully you guys could see that little Missy over here is chomping away on this puppy. Hey. So she's the first to wake up. Hopefully they all start to wake up. Did I answer that right?
Yes. How much do they weigh when they go home?
A toy is usually 3 pounds or under, and minis and standards can be over 3 pounds up to 5.5 pounds. It'll just depend on each puppy, but usually our puppies hover right around 4 pounds when they go home.
Do you do genetic testing on the parents? If so, do you provide that with the puppies when they're adopted?
We do testing on our adult dogs before we breed them, but we don't supply any of that information. If it's something that you're looking for, we could give it to you, but we don't do that just to everybody. And then we also DNA test our dogs so that they have a profile with UKC. So that way we know who the parents are, just to be sure. But yeah.
What's it like having so many newborn puppies at one time?
A lot of work. It's a lot of work and it's a lot of fun.
Newborns.
Well, it's still a lot of work when they're being born, but it's fun. I mean, they're more fun when they start to get a little older. When they're tiny, it's just a lot of love, of course, but when they get to this age is where it's really becomes a lot of fun and even more work, because then if you're gonna go pee over there, Missy, don't you pee over here. So it's fun. It's a lot of fun. But by the time they are 7 and 8 weeks, it's all work. She says, "Wake up, huh? You want everybody to wake up."
I'm good.
Good. All right. I'm trying to think. What time is it? So I know we want to go over.
6:37.
Okay, so we will continue this for about another 10 minutes or so, because hopefully they're going to start to wake up, and then we'll grab a couple of dogs and we'll go over some grooming. I thought it was going to be a great idea just because everyone's starting to shed, so they're all starting to blow coat, hair is starting to be everywhere, so I thought great opportunity to show you guys the basics on grooming and getting fur off of these dogs, so that way it's not all over your house.
What are the odds of a white Klee Kai?
It depends on, of course, each breeder and their breeding program. And hold on, we got puppy peeing. Can you stay over there? Okay. I know. Can Alexis or Gavin, can you grab me a pee pad from over there, because I want to change this one. Normally I'm not going to change a pee pad right away, but since we're laying here, I don't want them rolling in it. Right on the side of that door is a bunch of them. So as far as the whites go, we don't get very many, maybe 4 or 5 a year, if that. I think it just depends on the parents. We intentionally bred cashmere and trout together, even though we knew they both had the white gene. In fact, last year they gave us 2 white puppies, but we took a chance because we really were hoping for a light gray, and so we got a light gray, but we also got a white. And so it just depends. It's not as common with a lot of breeders, because a lot of breeders either don't have that gene in their breeding program, or they try to avoid it, because I'm sure a lot of you know, and maybe not all of you know, that the white Klee Kai are not UKC registerable, because they are a fault in the breed. So because they don't have a mask, they have no markings, that is not something that the breeder, of course, they're all gonna wake up and pee. That's not something that Linda Sperlin wanted whenever she created this breed. She was looking for a specific look. She wanted them to be a husky. I know, they're all waking up to be. And wanted them to have those markings. So a lot of breeders avoid having the whites because of that. We are able to register them with American Rare Breed Association, but they are not UKC registerable. And so for that reason, a lot of us try not to have as many whites. They're pretty popular with people, like they're beautiful, everybody likes them. They're still Klee Kai, their personalities don't change, like nothing changes aside from them not having the mask and not being UKC registered. Now, a lot of people want them. But that doesn't mean just because somebody wants them, we're gonna go out and try to breed a bunch of white ones. And that's just because we want to respect what Linda wished for, and her wish was to have them all look like a specific thing that she had in mind. And so that's that. But they're still loved and they're still Klee Kai.
What is the best way to potty train?
I just made a video on potty training. So hopefully you can watch that video, but it's consistency for sure, and crate training is a big part of potty training, and really being dedicated to spending the time to make sure that you get that puppy out every hour whenever they are awake or when they just wake up, and be very consistent in your word, your command, and reward, praise, and crate training. And when you can't watch the puppy, to put them in a pen, because if you don't put them in a pen and you give them free run, then you're never going to be able to catch them in the act, and it'll be harder for you to teach the puppy to go potty outside. We use pee pads because they're really young. Obviously, you can't potty train a 3-4 week old puppy, and it makes my life a lot easier, and I can just roll them up. And so, hi, mommy. So they're introduced to pee pads, they're introduced to grass, they're introduced to artificial grass, and recently we started with litter box training them. But the goal is for most people to teach them to go potty outside. And so if that's the case, then we don't encourage that you use pee pads, because if you use pee pads in your home past 8 weeks, then you are going to send mixed signals, and the puppy's going to be confused. Are you wanting them to pee outside, or are you wanting them to pee inside? And so it'll be harder for you to potty train whenever you're using those indoors and outdoors. Hi.
What age do you recommend spay and neuter and first grooming?
Can I see that?
Yep.
Are you guys done? That wasn't very nice, Missy. That wasn't very nice. So I'm glad they're starting to wake up. Now you get to see what it's like. Huh. Come here, babies. So as far as spay or neuter goes, we are not a vet, so we can tell you what our vet recommends or what they suggest. But at the end of the day, we feel like it's best for you to get that advice from your veterinarian, and it has a lot to do with the puppy's size, because the smaller puppies, they are going to be going through a spay or neuter, and they're really small. We don't want them to go through that at such a young age. Additionally, you want to make sure that their growth plates are closed before you spay or neuter your puppy. There's a lot of things, just like at some point it was all about don't feed grain-free, then feed grain-free, back and forth, and the same goes for spay or neuter. You know, for years, generations, it's always been spaying early, and then all of a sudden it was like, stop spaying so early because it's affecting the dog's growth, and again, it goes back and forth, so you never know for sure what's right and what's wrong. So we say, do what your vet recommends. Just keep in mind that you want to make sure they're not too small before you're having them go under anesthesia, and also to make sure that their growth plates are closed before you do that. So as long as you do that, you should be fine. And then what was the other question? The other part of that?
First grooming.
So the puppies, when they leave here, they're used to already being brushed, and so we encourage you to continue to do that, even though your puppy is not going to have a lot of fur coming off of them. But it's really good to teach your puppy all about grooming, especially if you have a grooming table, that they get used to standing on that table and getting brushed. And that way, whenever they're a little older, it's a lot easier because they're used to it and they don't hate it. As far as the first grooming session with a groomer, I would say it's probably going to be 3 to 4 months old. You could do it a little earlier, but really you're just wasting your money. The only benefit of that would be really for socializing and getting them used to, you know, a different environment and different people and blow dryers and that type of thing. But they aren't going to technically need grooming until about 4 months old, when they blow their puppy coat. And when they blow that puppy coat, then if you're not going to do it yourself, then definitely you're going to want to get them into the groomers, and that'll be really good to get them used to that. But start it right as soon as you get your puppy. You're going to want to start it.
That's the next question is, what age do they first blow coat?
Yeah, 3.5 to 4 months usually is when they're gonna blow that puppy fuzz. And you'll also see like from 8 weeks until 3.5 months, they're going to change a lot with their colors. And so, especially the grays and the lighter reds, they will turn really, really different from what they look like now. So for example, this guy, he'll change a lot even from what he looks like now, but all of this tan color is probably gonna go away, and he won't have any of that. He'll be more silver, and the tan will be gone. So they change a lot, but first puppy fuzz is gone 3.5, 4 months old.
Is there a time of year that they blow coats? Summer, winter, spring, fall, etc. Well, I can't talk.
You're like me.
Are you just like every June, this is going to happen?
No. So we are very fortunate that we live in California, but then we're not so fortunate because we live in California. So we don't have real seasons. And so for us, and this may be different for other breeders who have 4 seasons, but for us, there's no rhyme or reason because we don't have a true fall, a true winter. So our dogs don't all go off of the same schedule, and it's definitely not by season. And we'll have a dog who blows coat in the summer, and then we'll have a dog who blows coat in the winter. We're like, what the heck's going on? So it's all seasons for us. No rhyme or reason. I don't know about other breeders. I personally feel like it's based on when they were born, because they usually blow that puppy coat at about 3.5 to 4 months old. So if they're born in January, they're gonna blow that first puppy coat at a different age than some puppy that's gonna be born in February or March. So I don't know for sure, but that's my opinion, is it's based on their birthday.
What brand of pads do you use? Is it the extra large size?
Yes, it is the extra large size. So we buy a couple different ones now. For our playpen area, we buy these extra large ones, and they're pricey, but I like them because they cover a large area with less pee pads, right? If you could pay for smaller ones, but you're gonna use twice as many pee pads, you might as well spend the money on the extra large ones. But we also have the trays that you put the pee pad in, and so of course you can't use these extra large ones on those pad trays, so you have to have the small ones for those. And then the other really good thing for you to know is that you can buy the pee pads from Sam's Club. I don't know if Costco has them because we go to Sam's Club, but they're really not pee pads. They are called adult underpads, and they're way, way cheaper. So these are the really good ones that we use in here, but in the trays and stuff, we'll buy the ones that are from Sam's Club, and so it's like 120 of them for like $25 to $28, which is a great deal. So keep that in mind for all of you.
Can you explain exactly how the puppy offer email works? Does it go out to everyone on the list or just a certain number of people? Do you only pick the puppy you are interested in?
So
only one puppy?
Yeah, so it'll go to anyone who's on our waiting list, and you can email me specifically and we can go into more detail because I know not everybody on here is on our waiting list, but it'll go to everyone on our waiting list, and you'll be able to say, you know, which puppy you think you're interested in, and then if more than one person is interested in that puppy, whoever's been on the list longer will be awarded that puppy. So one thing I will say is sometimes it can be a little discouraging because you want a specific puppy. Let's just say you want the white one, there's only one, and somebody else wants the same puppy. Whoever's been on the list longer would get that puppy. But we can go into more detail about that by email, so feel free to email me that.
Do you only, but the second part of that was, do you only pick one puppy?
No, so let's just say we're gonna offer 3 puppies, and let's say you're open to either gray boy, or even all 3. You can give your first pick, your second pick, your third pick, and that way you do have a better chance of getting a puppy sooner if you have more options. So maybe somebody's wanting 2 of the 3 but not the third, then you might be able to get a puppy. So you can have as many choices as you like, we just need to know what order the preference is. So even if you don't care which ones, you just want a puppy, I still need an order from you, just so that I know which way to go.
What are the benefits of having a puppy that is UKC registerable?
For a pet person, there's no benefit as far as personally, right? It's really a piece of paper that proves that your dog is a purebred Alaskan Klee Kai. So the benefit is you know that what you bought is what you got. But aside from that, a lot of people don't even send in the paperwork to register their puppy into their name, and that's up to them. They don't have to. It's just that's what we provide once you spay or neuter. Hopefully, can you see the little puppy sleeping on top of the?
Barely. She's twitching.
So hopefully, let's see if you guys could see her.
It's at the bottom of the screen.
It's at the very bottom of the screen, and she's like sleeping over the toy, and her head's just hanging over. And then hopefully you guys could see her, like she's curled up all on the toys. You gonna move it a little?
Yeah. How's that?
So look at her how she's sleeping. And then this little girl, she just climbed up there to go to sleep, and now she is too. Can they still see me okay?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
it's way different on here than we
Than on
see it
there.
on there.
Okay, awesome. What time is it now?
It is 6:51, and that was the last question I had told everybody that after that we were going to do.
Perfect. So we are going to, we'll just put the pups in there. And then Gav, can you and Eric go get me some bandola? All right, guys, we're just gonna, the puppies are gonna go right here, and then the grooming table's right here. So you'll have to bear with us for 1 second because we're gonna move the phone, which is what I'm live streaming on, to the grooming table, which is right here. Are you guys sleepy heads? Come on, gotta wake up, Mama. Wait, I was gonna show them.
Oh.
Look, because since we have them up here, you guys wake up. Hopefully you guys could see, because I can't tell if you can see.
Oh yeah, that's perfect. Right where you were.
Can you see you?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, you can move the.
Okay. Hold on.
You're going for a ride.
Oh gosh. Okay. I think
What is
that we're good.
What's that like? Oh, it's all right, let's see. So while they're getting the dogs, I'll explain to you guys a couple of things that are pretty important. Roll the brush. Very, very important. So I am wearing a scrub, which I bought at the Goodwill, by the way. But I love them because, especially when you're grooming, the material, hi, Papa. The material is really great because the fur, come here. The fur doesn't stick to it, and it has pockets. And so if you're grooming, can you just put Nala in there, honey? Sit, sit. You can have all the stuff in your pockets. So let's just say you want the comb and the brush, and you don't want to be reaching all over the place. Then you can. Simba's used to being groomed, but he's not used to lights being shined on him and a camera. And what are you laughing at?
Gapping on the camera.
Hi, Papa. Well, come here. So I know not everybody's gonna have a grooming table, and that's fine. But a grooming table does make it a lot easier, especially if you want to brush every month and you don't want to be straining your back. So again, it's not necessary, come here. But it's definitely helpful because I can stand and it doesn't kill me, especially because I have so many dogs. So a lot of things, he's used to being on a grooming table, so it's great. He's been on the table since he was little, but he doesn't want to, he knows there's puppies. So if you can, great. If not, it's fine. You can just put them on the ground and get them used to it right away. So a couple of things that are very important for us is a rake. And I did a grooming video, so you guys can also check that out. But a rake is really good, especially when they're starting to blow coat. And a slicker brush, and there's a couple kinds of slicker brushes. Somebody, can you just chill for a minute? The slicker brushes that we like are the ones that have the balls on the ends because they aren't going to poke them. So hopefully you guys, can they see that, honey?
Yes, barely, slightly.
Okay, well, the tips of these little metal prongs have little rubber balls on them. And so whenever you go to brush the dog, it's not going to poke them. So you want to press your hand on here, and if it is, you're not getting that toy. No, thank you. If it hurts your hand, it's going to hurt them. So you want to make sure that it doesn't poke you. And if it doesn't, you're good. If it does, don't use it. And a rake. No, I already said a rake. A comb. There's a couple of different combs that I like, specifically this one here, which this iodized purple one that we found several years ago at a dog show. And it's lasted
A long time.
15 years. It's perfect. It goes in the water and never have a problem. But it has the teeth that are really close together and then they're far apart. And I use this a lot because it gets underneath here and it pulls out any undercoat and fluffs them up. And so this is key. Now there are some that you can use that don't have the two different sizes of teeth, you know, thicker, closer together or farther apart. I like this one just because sometimes if a dog is shedding a lot, and I'm going to bring Brew out here in a minute and you'll see why this is really good, because Simba's not shedding as much as Brew is, but Brew, we can't get this fine tooth one in her coat because it's so thick, it's so dense that I do this and it's just going to get stuck. But I can get the thicker side in. Can everything see? Can you see?
Yeah, you can see, but I'm gonna
Simba's
go up
probably
a little
in the
bit.
way.
No, not really. I think
so-
that should be good.
If you guys can find the one that has both, you want that. Simba, come here.
You're fine. You're fine.
And then the grooming glove, which is really just more for massaging the dogs and loosening up. No. He wants the toys. I know. No. Look, I'm going to brush you right now, and then you'll be happy. So I'm going to keep him calm here. You're going to see a lot of fur right now because he's starting to really shed. But this here is going to loosen up all of that fur, and it's really massaging the dog. So a dog that doesn't really like to be groomed, this is going to help him get used to it. And as you can tell, he's going to lay down now because it feels really good. So just like us, like it has these little rubber knobs. They're really soft, and it's just massaging him. And so you can tell how much he likes it. This is also going to help release any little particles of dirt that is stuck in his fur. He hasn't had a bath in months. And he doesn't really need one because he plays in the water, he runs outside, he dries off, and all of a sudden he's clean again. So we don't give him a lot of baths because it dries out their skin. It makes their coat really dull. And anyway, so we use this a lot. As you can tell, he loves it. And this is really cheap. This glove's like $10. And makes him happy. Does that make you happy? Can they see him?
Yeah,
The
perfect.
little goofball. He's a little goofball. So he's not going to want me to stop. Oh yeah, that's nice. I like being right here. I can actually see. I never get to see what it looks like until afterwards. So that's kind of cool. Can you guys see all that? Like I said, they're starting to blow coat. So when they do shed, it is a lot. Now, if you brush them every week, even when they're not blowing coat, it is going to be less fur. Simba, no. And so I'll go through this, and it's going to loosen up a lot. It is going to pull out some hair, but it's not going to get all of it. Come here. The other thing that I really like that loosens things up, and the dogs like, is this. It's called Zoom Groom. He thinks it's a treat. It's, again, rubber balls, and this is going to loosen up. This one, though, fur goes flying everywhere. So I'm not going to do it because I'm in my office, and I don't want fur everywhere. Come here. So this literally you're just gonna rub, and you could use this while you're taking a bath, giving him a bath and rubbing in the soap, because one thing that we find with this breed is they have that really thick undercoat, and so they're pretty dense. So when you put water on them, it literally just drops off. It doesn't soak through. It takes a while for it to soak through. And so if you use one of these or even that grooming tool and rub it in, it's going to help him because it's going to massage him. He's going to stay. He's going to enjoy it. But it's also going to lather up the soap and get underneath his thick top coat and get into the bottom. And so.
Are you taking questions on grooming?
Yeah, I can take questions. I don't even know how fast I'm talking.
Pretty fast. Well, this one, is he still producing puppies?
Oh yeah, he's a baby. Yeah, he's only a year, almost a year and a half. So he just started having babies, and hopefully we'll have puppies from him next month.
And then somebody asked,
He sees the
what
puppies.
size is he?
He's a standard. So
Simba.
no.
He sees the puppies.
I know, that's what I said. He sees the puppies in there. Normally he doesn't. Can you see him? You look funny, Goof. You look funny right there. So we just put all the little puppies right here in the crate, and he just realized that they're in there. And now he's gonna want them because, come here. Hey. Yeah, we're not having those. They're not for you to play with. No, I know. So he's a standard. He is about 16 inches tall, and he is 21 pounds.
Where do you get the collar holder?
So this here, is that what, I think that's what they're talking about? Okay, so the grooming table itself, you can buy the grooming table, sit. You can buy the grooming table without the arm. Honey, you want to hold her? Yeah. So you can buy it without the arm and just the table itself, or you can buy it with the arm. And if you buy it with the arm, Simba, come here. Come here. Then it's going to come with, you're probably going to jump down. You're going to jump or you're going to fall? You almost fell. No, it's going to come up here in a minute. So it'll come with this little cheap thing. It doesn't work very well, but it's a noose. This lifts here, so you can go up, and let's just say your dog is not very well behaved on the grooming table. Come here, Simba. Then you can put this on and force them so they don't fall. That's really what it's for. He doesn't need it, so he doesn't even know what this is. So
He's freaking out.
But obviously, if you have to step away, it's good. Hi, Papa. Then you don't want to leave them, unattended. Now, this isn't my favorite. I do have dogs who don't like to be groomed, and I like this one because we'll see if Simba will let us demonstrate. He hates this one. So this has two, but Emily has one hook. Come here. So it hooks on, but you don't hook it until after you connect it to him. And the bigger part goes around his belly here, and then this smaller one's gonna go around his head. So it's literally, no. It's gonna keep his body a lot closer to being level with what you're wanting. I didn't say that right, but it's gonna keep him in. Can we put this on? It's gonna keep him on the table for sure, and it'll prevent him from sitting down as well. So a lot of them, you're trying to get the tail or the rear end, and they wanna sit, or they keep spinning around. This is gonna prevent that. And so it's got one hook, two pieces. Let's see. So you'll put that one on, you'll put this one on, and we're gonna demonstrate. He's not gonna like it. He's like, I'm a good boy. What do I need this thing for? Huh? I don't want that. Hold on. I'm stepping out. And you'll have to get good at this. I know. Sorry. We're gonna demonstrate. Stay. He's crying. Hopefully they could hear him.
He knows.
He knows. Okay, so there's a rubber piece that is going to protect his little privates, right? And then there's this little plastic piece over here that's going to tighten on his neck so that it's not too loose and he can slip out of it. However, we left it down and they ate it, so it doesn't walk. Come here. And so you aren't going to be able to just lift this up and hook it, right? So you have to be able to lower this part down, okay? Make sure that you don't let it just fall on his head. And then you're going to hook him on. And now if this is too low and he's still able to move, then you're going to raise this. If it's too high, you're going to lower it a little, right? And so you're going to lower it till you think that it is the right height, and then you'll be able to see. So now if he tries to sit down, he can't, because this is holding his butt up. So now for those dogs that you can't ever brush them here because they constantly sit or try to jump down, this will solve that problem. So you can see that he can't get off the table. And he can't sit. So for those of you who struggle, this is a great item for you to use. I do think I have the link to that also. I bought mine on Amazon because this did not come with my grooming table, and I bought it on Amazon. It was pretty reasonable, I think under $20, but he doesn't need it. And,
I have a few questions.
okay.
First, what is Simba like with the puppies?
He's so gentle. He loves the puppies. Now, when they get a little older, he's kind of rambunctious, but he loves puppies, which is why he keeps staring over there. He wants to check them out. He hasn't seen these puppies because they're pretty young, so we don't introduce him and Nala to the puppies until they're about 4 to 5 weeks old. He's a pretty big boy, so if he were to step on one, he would hurt him. It wouldn't be intentional, but he loves puppies for sure.
The next
He likes
one.
to make puppies too.
What is the name and or brand of that bar soap?
The bar soap?
That's what I've been asked.
Bar soap? This
Yes.
bar?
Bar soap.
I don't know. I'm not sure what they're talking about.
Okay. Which bathing / grooming process dries out the coat and makes them itchy?
Too many baths with the shampoos, anything is going to dry out their coat and skin. Even too much water, like if you're swimming too much, is going, I don't know why I'm looking over there, sorry guys. That's going to dry out their skin and coat. But a lot of the shampoos are a little harsh and they don't have any oatmeal or aloe vera in them, and so it really just sucks out all of this stuff. Any of the shampoos that are medicated is going to dry them out. Served for hot spots or anything like that. Any of the de-shedding stuff is probably not going to be a shampoo that is sensitive to this breed, so you want to be aware of that. We don't spend a lot of money on shampoos because we don't do a lot of bathing, and so we just buy the gentlest stuff because really they're not filthy. You're not trying to get tar out of them. They don't have an odor, so you're not trying to eliminate an odor. You're simply just trying to wash off any dirt that's just kind of underneath in the undercoat. But we don't spend a lot on them. Burt's Bee, simple. Oatmeal stuff, simple, cheap.
Oh, it was the little the blue with the rubber.
Oh, the Kong. This is called the Zoom Groom. What was the question?
The rubber that you rubbed on his fur, was it soap? It was that.
Yeah, this is
What
called.
brand?
The name or the brand?
It is called a Zoom Groom, and it's by Kong. Okay, and they have a few sizes, and so you literally, it's just rubber with really soft rubbery teeth, and it massages them, and you can go back and forth, and it's gonna loosen up anything underneath. So anything that's stuck under there, it'll help loosen that up. I'm not gonna do it in here because he is gonna explode when I do with so much fur coming off of him right now. But they do like this a lot. And if you watched my grooming video, I did use that, so you'll see like the fur flying out. But again, you wanna make this enjoyable for your dog, right? The dogs don't, if the dogs don't like it, you're gonna struggle. If you're struggling and chasing your dog all over to try to groom them, you're gonna hate it every time your dog's blowing coat because it's a chore and your dog hates it. So you want it to be a good experience. So start off really young, and you want to start off positive. Give them treats. If you have a table, then you're going to have a treat in your pocket. Why do I love this so much? Because when I have puppies, I have pockets in here, right? And I could pull out a treat and reward them for standing or sitting or staying still. And the positive thing is you're massaging your puppy. He's getting a rub down, so they enjoy it. And then you're slowly going to introduce things, because when they're young, they don't need all of this stuff, right? Because they're not blowing that puppy fuzz. So you can just introduce them to the Kong, you can enter to the Zoom Groom, which is from Kong, you can introduce them to the glove, and he's just basically getting a massage. So start them off with young stuff and make them enjoy it, give them rewards, positive reinforcement, and then as they get older, you'll be able to introduce all of this other stuff, and they're gonna be like this. But we've heard from a lot of Klee Kai owners that their dogs hate being groomed, and they struggle, and they chase them all over the place, and they run the minute they see a brush. Our dogs run to us when they see the brush because they want to enjoy their massage and get cleaned, and so we don't have a problem with it, but you want to start young.
Didn't Simba and Diamond have a little girl?
Yeah. Who was that?
I don't know the screen name.
Yeah, she did. Simba's been a daddy twice. He's had 2 puppies so far, and so.
Will we get to see the new puppies?
Well, I'm not going to bring the little ones out today just because I have an air conditioning unit right here, Simba, no. And it's pretty cold, and so little puppies have to regulate their temperature, and I don't have a heating pad because I have the older puppies and I have them. So I'm not going to bring them out today, but there's new pictures on our website, and next week they'll be a little older, then we can bring them out. So the problem with new puppies is that they cannot regulate their temperature on their own. They have to stay warm, and so that means you have to keep them warm with a heating pad with their mom. And so I figured we're going to do grooming. We're going to be doing a lot of things that we're not going to have the newborns. Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy.
Last question, do they like to swim?
A lot of them like to be in the water on their own terms. They don't necessarily just swim, but they like to be with their feet and play in the water. If you have a beach entry pool, they like that. They like the beaches. They like the lakes. I see you, puppy. But they aren't a breed that really jumps in the pool all of the time. Some do. It's very rare, but they do like the water. Do I get kisses? So I'm going to show you Nala. Come here, Sim. Because Nala is really starting to blow the fuzz all over her rear end. And so I want to use her as an example with the comb. And I need a drink of water. I get thirsty talking. Come here, Nala. So.
Wait, show Eric's shirt just by holding her.
Oh, yeah.
So this is a great example with the dog that is, can you see his shirt? So she's blowing coat, and I haven't brushed her because I had an idea of doing it here. And so this is going to be why people don't wear black when they have Klee Kai. But I haven't brushed her because of, we're staying. Because I wanted to show you guys, if you only have one Klee Kai and they're starting to blow coat, either you take them to the groomers or you start brushing them and get it all out. So the best thing to do is bathe your dog first when this starts to happen. The minute you bathe them first, what's going to happen is going to loosen up a lot of it, and it's going to make it a lot easier for it to all come out. And if you want it all out in one sitting, there's a few ways you're going to do it. So at this point, I'm not even going to use this or the glove because it is really starting to come out. So if you can see, this is why I wanted you guys to see her, that literally I can pluck the hairs off of her. And so what I want to do at this point is either I want to use the rake and pull it out. So see this right here?
Look at her nose.
She's like, you got your own fur on there. She sees that Simba has a toy. So this rake, if you guys see this, look at what it's doing. It literally is just pulling out. You can see how much is ready to come off because it's so clumpy. And that's what this rake does. This rake it's an undercoat rake. So what is it going to do? It's going to loosen up and pull out that undercoat that's ready to fall off. And the undercoat that's coming out is dead. It's ready to come out, right? Look how easy it was. You're not getting that toy. No. And so this is not a one-step process, right? It's multiple things you're going to do. You're going to bathe the dog. And then after you bathe the dog, and she sees the puppies now.
Yeah.
And then after she's bathed, then you can wait until she dries to groom her. But one thing that I do a lot is I will wash her while she's in the sink, use the rake, use the comb, of course, plug your sink so that all the fur doesn't go down the drain. But if it's already all loose and she's wet and she's in a sink, it's so much easier to control it. When it's like this and it's not wet, guess what happens? It's flying everywhere. Hopefully you could see that. It's flying everywhere right now. So if she's wet, it's not gonna have static. It's not gonna fly. It's literally gonna be caught and it's sitting on the bottom of your sink. Your sink is clogged with a drain plug, and then you get all of the fur out. Then you let her dry. Then you're gonna go back and you're gonna use everything. You wanna see those puppies, don't you? So this rake is awesome. The other thing that I really love, and that's what I wanted to show you guys, is this comb. Remember this comb? So stay, Nala. So this here is going to literally pull every bit. Now, this rake is not a quick fix. It's not something that is you go one time and you're done. But this rake is going to get all of this fur out this comb is going to get everything out. Can you let Ruin?
Yeah.
In one sitting, if you're patient. She's a small dog, so she'll get it all out in one sitting. So literally it's pulling the undercoat out, and if you get too much fur in at one time, it's not going to do anything because it's all stuck. Because remember, I'm using the fine tooth, right? So if I feel like it's not really getting everything out, I'll go to the thicker part, because then I'm gonna have a better chance of getting it out easier because it's so thick, right? It's so thick. But I like the thinner part, and what I do is I just go in small sections. So you're not going to the direction of the fur. If you see this and you're going this direction, you're not gonna get as much, right? You can do this, but what are you getting? Not as much. If you go the opposite direction, Nala, you're not getting those puppies. Then you're gonna get so much more of that fur out all at one sitting. And when you're done, you'll be done. She sees puppies, so she's not gonna stay still for me.
Do you blow dry them or can they air dry?
You can blow dry them or air dry them. It depends on the day. If weather is good, then you can just let them outside and let them run and air dry. But we blow dry as well, but we don't really blow dry as much. We used to do more whenever we did dog shows, but now, no, Nala, no. You're not getting the babies, no. Nala thinks that she should be everybody's mom. She wants to raise puppies, but yet she's never had puppies.
What size is Nala?
She's barely a mini, so she's almost a toy. She's barely 13 inches and a quarter, like an eighth, really.
How long does it take to air dry?
I mean, if the weather is good, 20, 30 minutes. It also depends on how thick your dog is. If they're really, really thick, it's going to take a lot longer than a dog that's not as thick. So Nala has a short coat, so she's not going to take long at all. And 20 minutes at most. Rue's very, very, very thick and very dense, so it takes a long time for her to air dry. Did she come up, or did you put her with her puppies?
Yeah, put her with the puppies.
Okay, thank you, Annie. So I just wanted to show you guys Nala because this is really what it's like when they shed.
Are they good in hot weather?
I mean, we live in Southern California. It's pretty warm. They do fine. We have misters out. We have a pool out there, a plastic pool for them to play in. But honestly, they don't want to be out there a long time. They want to be indoors with us, or they want to be cooled off. They want to play inside with us, be cooled with shade and water. So they do fine in the heat because they're not outdoor dogs. Like, they're not going to be outside all the time.
Is there any significance to naming these two Simba and Nala?
No, other than we named Simba first. Yeah, that fur is bugs, huh? I don't know if you guys all saw that, but Nala had fur on her and she used her paw to get it off of her. No, other than we named Simba first, and because we named him, I'm going to throw this away, but I'm going to keep talking. We decided when we kept Nala that we would name her Nala because it was kind of fitting, right? Nala, Simba. But there's really nothing other than we liked the name Simba. So that is some grooming. Obviously, she's nowhere close to being done, and I could sit here for the next hour and get her done. During this time, I'm going to be covered in fur. She's covered in fur. The area is covered in fur. You're not getting the puppies, no. And so if you can do it outside, if the weather's nice, great. Do it where there's tile so you could vacuum it all up. I did find there is a vacuum attachment for the Dyson. I don't own a Dyson except for the small battery one, but if I did, I would buy this. There's an attachment that sucks the fur off of the dog, supposedly. So if any of you guys have a Dyson, look into that, because I'm curious to know if it works. But when they're not shedding, this really minimal. If you brush every week, it's gonna be less shedding than this. I don't have time for brushing every week, just to be honest. So I brush when I can, I groom when I can, and when they're shedding coat, I go crazy or call the groomers and let them handle it. But we've been doing it so long, so I know what I'm doing, so it doesn't take me as long as it would take some of you guys. But as you can tell, I'm covered in fur right now.
You can't see it.
No?
Uh-uh.
Oh, here, let's see. It's good. That's why I wear these shirts. Any questions with grooming? No?
So far, no.
Nala wants to see the babies. Huh. You want to see the babies?
I do. Where's the lint brush?
I know, it's right there. So, okay, I think that's it for grooming. I mean, I gave you guys some tips. Obviously, the rake, honey,
So
it's loud.
close.
It's really loud.
Sorry.
Rookie move. Once you're done with doing the rake and the comb, and you're pretty close to done, that's when you're going to use the slicker. I probably should have explained that to you guys. So the slicker, you can go both ways. You can go the same direction. She is glued to those puppies. I'm going to show you them in a minute, okay? And this is really just picking up all of the fur that's already super loose, right? You've already loosened up a lot of it's just floating around. And so you can go both directions with this, and it is going to collect a lot. The good thing about the slicker brush is that it contains the fur. So I don't have fur flying everywhere. With the rake and the combs, it doesn't really hold all the fur, and so it's a lot messier. One thing I do want to note for anybody that is looking at grooming tools and maybe they already have a Klee Kai or getting one soon, do not use a furminator on a Klee Kai, because it is damaging to their coat and it pulls out their undercoat, yes, but it also cuts their top coat. And so what will happen is their coat's going to get really dull and really ugly and damaged. So don't use that for anything, because it's just going to mess them up.
Does the purple comb hurt them?
It's only going to hurt them if the undercoat, no. If the undercoat is not all the way loose and you pull too hard, or you try to get too much fur at one time. So if the fur is all coming off, and you see I already did this side earlier, so really look at how now, remember 10 minutes ago how much came off? And now look when I do it. So this is with the thin side, they're close together. Now I'll stop or I'm gonna noose you. So it doesn't hurt unless you push too hard, right? If you push down hard, it's gonna hurt them. Or if you get too much fur at the same time, it could hurt because it's pulling their skin and not really getting any of the undercoat out. But I use this to really fluff them up a lot, because some dogs are shorter coated than others, so they aren't gonna look as fluffy. But if you use this comb and go the opposite direction, can they see that, honey?
Yeah.
Then it's really gonna give her that nice full look, even though she doesn't have a full coat. And so obviously she doesn't care, it's not hurting her. Her eyes are locked on those puppies. So this is gonna help.
She's not stopped. Do they dig holes / trenches in the ground like huskies and mouse to stay cool when it's hot?
They're not out long enough to do that, so they probably could. They dig holes to find gophers, but they're not out there long enough to do that here. They probably would, but I don't recommend leaving them out if it's that hot to where they need to do that. You wanna see the babies? Do they have other grooming questions? If not, I'll let Noah see the puppies.
I don't think so.
Okay, so a quick recap. A comb, a rake, it's called an undercoat rake. Okay, undercoat rake, a slicker brush, a zoom groom, and a glove. So it's a grooming glove. those are the things that I use when I'm grooming a dog. That's it. And simple, easy shampoo. Nothing too fancy. I mean, you can get what you want, but I'm just saying you don't need something way too fancy because you're not going to be giving them a lot of baths. You want to see the baby?
Is it hard to train a Klee Kai?
No. I mean, they're pretty smart, but they are stubborn. So you want to make sure that you're consistent in your training and that your dog respects you and knows you're the boss, and positive reinforcement. If you reward them and they are food motivated, which normally Klee Kai are, then they're gonna want to please you and they're gonna want their treat. So this breed is, they want to please you. They want to make you happy. Your whole life, their whole world is all about you. So if you are not happy with them, then they're not going to be happy. But if you're happy with them, then they're going to be happy. So what do they want to do? They want to make you happy. Huh. All right. I'm gonna. I know I'm gonna make you move that again, but
Okay.
she wants to see the puppy. So Nala has never seen this litter, but Nala loves puppies. Loves more than Simba. Huh. You want to see the babies?
Okay, bear with me.
So, we're going on a road trip. Hold on. Here.
Okay.
I'm covered in fur, so what I'm gonna do. Is that you want them, huh? You want? No, you're not going in. I'll bring them to you.
How's that? No.
You're not gonna go in and hurt them all. Stop.
No, come here. Come here.
Okay.
Here. I know. You don't care.
She says no. All right. Well, those ones I think are going potty, so I don't want them. You guys go potty. Okay.
You want two?
You can have 2.
All right, guys. I took off my other shirt. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. So she thinks she's a mom. If you guys can see what she's doing, she's trying to clean them. You gotta be gentle. So she's going to, remember she hasn't seen these guys, so I have to make sure that she's gentle with them because they are pretty young. So if you see her flipping them, she's like, oh, 2 aren't enough, I want the rest of them. Be gentle, be gentle, be gentle.
Do they like kiddie pools?
Yes, yeah. In fact, whenever it starts the season and you can find the kiddie pools, I buy 4 or 5 because they can chew on them and mess them up. She's going back because she's not enough. So yeah, they do like kiddie pools, and that if they have a kiddie pool, they'll go in and out on their own. Simba's usually soaking wet. Diamond and Rue will go in and they'll just dunk their heads in the water. You can't have all of them. What time is it?
7:28.
Oh, we did really good on time. You want all the babies, huh? They're all waking up. You want to let all the babies out? Gentle.
You want 2 more?
Sure. She keeps going back and forth. But you
The
gotta be
little black
gentle.
ones want out.
You gotta be gentle, Mama. Come here.
No, Mama.
Alexis is gonna get some more puppies. Oh yeah, they're waking up to go pee now.
Okay, Nala. Okay, come on.
Gentle, you gotta remember the babies. Gentle, 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 gentle. Come here. Gentle. 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 They don't need you to clean them.
Oh yes, they do.
You know, Simba's mad. Be gentle. She knows there's more. So 4 is not enough apparently. You don't need all of them.
Oh yes, I do.
Well. Come here, baby. Come here. since everybody's waking up, you're gonna scare them. Hey, honey, can you take Nola? She's a spaz.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can you tell which of the puppies are full coated?
So usually, I'm just gonna go pee. Usually I can tell like the both of the black puppies and this white puppy and the other gray. This one has a little shorter coat, but yes, I could tell which ones are a little thicker and longer than some of the others, for sure. But they do change. Like Kika was really had a short coat whenever she was little, and she grew into an actual beautiful coat. So it doesn't always mean that what you see at this age is what they're going to be as an adult, because they do change a lot. Sorry, I just did that right over the camera view. But now the babies are awake, so that's good. You got fur all over you. They're waking up. Because they're waking up. No, Nala, no.
How many pups do you have total?
12. Thank you, Gavin. You're the best. 12 puppies right now. So we have 4 litters. And if anybody's asked in the past, like average litter size or how many puppies are in a litter, I've always said, like over the years, our average is 3. And so here we are, average is still 3 with 12 puppies and 4 litters.
How long do the moms nurse their pups for?
Bless you. So we introduce mush, puppy food, which is really soft and mushy at 4 weeks old. Their teeth are just coming in, but they still nurse off of mom several times a day at 4 weeks. And then by the time they are 6 weeks,
Nala,
no. They're eating puppy food usually 2 to 3 times a day, and then they're completely done by 6.5, 7 weeks. Depends on the mom. So some of our dogs, they don't want to stop nursing, and some of them are over nursing relatively early. So every mom is different, and so there's not really a set, but we do introduce puppy mush at 4 weeks old, and 6.5 weeks is when they're really eating solid hard food full time.
I know we've answered this before, but we have no other questions.
Okay.
At what point do you know if they're standard, mini, or toy?
So we don't guarantee a size, period. We give a best estimate based on our history and our experience, but there's no guarantee. And then as far as what age we normally offer our puppies at 4 weeks, and we have a pretty good idea at that age. Is the camera crooked?
It kind of looks like it.
It looks very crooked to me. Sorry guys, I'm a little OCD. I see it looking at me crooked. So at 4 weeks old when we offer them, we have a pretty good idea. It's gonna be the legs.
This is how it was before.
Okay. That's fine then. That's fine then. Just leave it.
It is crooked though.
I could tell it is. It's not gonna be that side. You won't be able to do it from that. But it's fine.
Okay.
Sorry guys. So 4 weeks is when we guess what size we think they're going to be. And then they are done growing height-wise between 9 and 12 months, but they don't finish growing maturity-wise, thickness, filling out until about 1.5 years old. Some will even say a little longer, but height, they're usually done for sure by a year old, and some are a little sooner, they'll stop growing, like Nala stopped growing months ago. So just every dog is a little different.
When should you take your puppy to the vet for the first time?
We recommend doing it within the first week or so from getting your puppy. And every breeder is going to be a little different. We say definitely you want to take them in the first week because you want to just give them a puppy wellness check, give them time to socialize and get used to the vet. And it's also a good idea to take your puppy to the vets before they need vaccines because you want your puppy to be able to go to the vets with a good positive experience and not have a new family and leave their puppy litter mates and their parents and then go to the vets and then all of a sudden they're getting shots and poked and prodded. So if you can just do a puppy well check without getting shots for the first time, that's going to be really good because your puppy's not going to instantly just be afraid of the vets and afraid of you taking them and all of that stuff. So it's good if you can do that, but first 5 days I would say.
Why are black and whites more expensive?
Well, because they're harder to get. So at least for us, and all of these questions really, just so you guys all know, like these questions I'm answering, these pertain to us, our breeding program, our experience, our knowledge, the way we do grooming, but that's not the only way, and everyone has their own pricing, their own way of doing things, and so just for full disclosure, this is just based for us. But black and white double blue eyes are the hardest to get. Obviously, we have 6 puppies here. There's not one black and white double blue eyed puppy. So hopefully you guys can see the puppies right now.
Yes.
So that's why, and they're also the most requested. Like everybody wants them. So of course, it's supply and demand. You know, harder to get, more people want them. I do have a question. How many people are on here?
68.
And how many thumbs up do we have?
41.
All right, guys, so we did this last week. If you were on here, I'm not sure, but a couple of things. YouTube, right? YouTube's pretty new for us. We're asking you guys to all give us a thumbs up. So before we answer any more questions, please, if you guys can all take a second and give it a thumbs up. And what that really does is it just is telling YouTube that you guys are enjoying the video, that you like the topic, and that you found value in our video. And so if you guys can do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button for me. And if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel so that you guys are notified whenever we do go live or when we post new video content. We try to get something uploaded every week, which is pretty new for us, but we have been pretty consistent. And if you guys find value in this and it is something that you think that you want to continue to see, then you'll want to hit the subscribe button and hit that little bell notification. So YouTube again is new to us. We don't really understand the algorithm, they call it, and what everything means, but if more people like our video and our content, then they're going to share it with more people, which means more people that are searching for Klee Kai training, Klee Kai information, whatever it is, then YouTube's going to recommend us more if they know that based on the viewers that you guys like the content. So that's kind of how YouTube works from what we know. How are we doing now?
Only up to 54.
Oh, that means people are on and they're not watching or they're not listening. They're probably just watching the puppies. Okay. So, do we have any questions?
Yeah, 3.
Okay.
What brand of dog food do you feed?
We feed Purina Pro Plan, and we've gone through tons of dog foods. We've fed raw, we've fed Natural Balance, we've fed Eganuba, we've fed Neutro, we've fed Taste of the Wild, we've fed Timberwolf, a lot of dog foods. And we've been feeding Pro Plan for the last couple of years. Super happy with that dog food, and we'll stick with that. There's a lot of good that we
What's
found
the lifespan?
in that dog food. Again, everybody's different. They can feed whatever you guys think. I would say don't feed a grain-free diet. You'll read a lot of things. Feed grain-free, don't feed grain-free. But now they're saying that if you do feed a grain-free diet, that it can cause some heart problems, and so you don't want to do that. What was your question?
What's their lifespan?
So the lifespan, the breed is pretty new. Like they've been a recognized breed since 1997, and they've been a breed in the works since the late 70s. So they haven't been around a long, long time. But based on the last 20, 30 years, They're saying it's anywhere from 12 to 17 years, although we have heard of a couple Klee Kai living 18, 19 years. So it could be anywhere from 12 to 18, 19 years, average 12 to 17. And that's just based on small dogs in general, right? And as much history that we have of the breed. So the more time that goes by, the longer we'll be able to track things and we'll be able to give a better understanding of how long.
How many times a night should I take my puppy out to pee?
So it'll depend on each puppy, but for us, normally our puppies only wake up once a night when they're 8 weeks old and ready to go home. Can you let her? She could just be loose. She doesn't have to be in her crate. But one time a night usually, and then by the time they're 10 to 12 weeks, most of our puppies sleep through the night. So one time at night, usually between 1 to 3 a.m. Again, it'll depend on where you get your puppy from, if they are, you choking her out, what their schedule's like. I'm just telling you for ours.
I know you were emotional last time this was brought up, so please only answer if you'd like. Was Kika your very first AKK?
Yes, Kika was our very first Klee Kai, and we waited almost 2 years for her, and that's why the whole Kika's Klee Kai is our kennel name. And you know, back in 2003, we didn't really think about the name so much. We just knew we needed to build a website, and I mean, back then there was really like 10 breeders in the whole United States. So we just was like, well, of course it's Kika's Klee Kai because it's Kika.
Here comes Rue.
So here comes Rue, and these are not her puppies, but our dogs love everybody's puppies. However, I don't want you feeding them. Please don't feed them. Okay? They're not for you to feed. So yes, she was our first, and she was 15 years old when we had to let her go, and that was just because she other than her quality of life and her not wanting to get up and move and go outside or get out of her crate, she actually was a healthy dog. Like Kate, leave them alone. They're all gonna want to nurse on you now. Yeah. So we had to let her go because of quality of life. Like she just did not want to go out anymore and get up. You're not gonna feed them, please. Don't feed them.
They should be sleeping through the night at 8 weeks, no?
They can sleep through the night at 10 to 12 weeks. Once in a while, we do get a puppy that sleeps through the night at 8, but most of the time, no. It's 10 to 12. Now, tiny puppies that have a really, really small bladder,
Stop.
then they're gonna definitely have to wake up for a while because they're really small. They can't hold it that long. Dogs that have a bigger bladder are gonna last a little longer. Sorry guys, like we got hair all over me, and no, she woke all the puppies up at least. You're gonna tease them all. This is the story of my life, huh?
We discussed party eye earlier, but can you say again, do by party tend to turn a solid color or as they get older, or could the bi party be more prominent as they get older, or both?
Honey, if you want to give her a bone, she'll go back. Oh, she'll probably go if you just call her with this toy. Sorry, we're gonna get Rue out of here so she'll leave the puppies so they don't get all worked up. So sorry, read that again. Bi party.
Bi party, do they tend to turn a solid color as they get older, or can it be more prominent as they get older, or both?
It's both, so it's really, really hard because they can stay both party-eyed. They could turn one color or the other color, and there's no rhyme or reason. We have dogs that are party now and they're adults, and then we have some that will change. So if the puppy's eye is primarily one color, chances are it's going to turn that color, but not always. Sometimes it'll stay with just a speck of blue or that speck of brown. I don't even know why or when. It doesn't really make any sense. I don't know.
Can you get ProPlan at any store?
The specialty feed stores, not so much, but any Petco, PetSmart, Chewy online, Amazon, there's a lot of facilities that carry it. But some of the specialty places, they aren't gonna have it. No, I don't think Walmart or Target carry it. They might. Tractor Supply carries it. But yeah, most places, which is really nice because we used to feed Timberwolf and it was really hard for our puppy owners to be able to find dog food because it's specialty and you can't get it anywhere.
Hi. Hi, Papa. Hi. Oh, you gonna get him? You gonna get him?
I don't know what they mean by this. Do you have the red fur breed?
This is a red, so this puppy here is considered a red, although she looks brown. But I'm guessing that's what you mean. So yeah, we produce all 3 colors. We have all 3 colors. Well, 4 colors really if you talk whites. But yeah, we do have reds. We produce reds. Hopefully you guys can see the puppies play. Can they see that?
Will the white puppy stay pure white?
Yes, so the white puppy will stay all white. Right now she has a little tinge of pink and that's just from nursing, but yeah, she'll be all white. Come on, you could do it.
Hello from Pixie in Sacramento.
Hello from Pixie! So Pixie was featured on one of our last videos that we did, the behind the scenes, and she was the little spazzy puppy that we had to ship, and so we took her to the airport because we had other puppies that needed to get a health check, and then we shipped her, but we had some drama and the flight got delayed, and so she had to come home, and anyway, so we did a full behind the scenes video with Pixie. So hi Pixie! Although her name's not Pixie anymore.
What pet insurance do you have?
So we are breeders. Unfortunately, we can't have pet insurance. So we're excluded from being able to buy that, unfortunately. But there's a lot of food, or, oh my God, I think I need to eat dinner. There's a lot of pet insurances out there, and so you'll want to do your own research because some of them only have the option to buy pet insurance that is like wellness checks and your shots and your neuter, and then some of them are more geared towards accidents and genetic problems, anything that they have that it's covered. So you'll want to do your research. We hand out information on Trupanion, and that's only because Trupanion reached out to us and asked if they can share the information, and so we give it to you guys. Plus, they have a lot of valuable information that they send us with little pamphlets on preparing for summer, winter, plants that are dangerous, that type of thing. So we don't mind passing those out, but we don't get anything from it. We don't endorse them necessarily. We just share the information with you guys because they share it with us. So a lot of people have pet insurance now through work too, so look at that because a lot of employers are offering stuff like that. Come on, you can do it.
When will the fat Klee Kai plush be available to purchase? I still have the one from Pixie, the small one.
Do you mean the big one?
Yeah.
The big one? I got that at PetSmart. If you're talking about the big one, which I think we just had one, I think I threw it down. Oh no, it's it's downstairs, huh? I got those at PetSmart, so that's easy. That's $5 at PetSmart. But if you're talking about just a new toy, because Pixie needs a new one, then you can email me. We have been getting a lot of people asking about that, so it might be something that at some point I put them on there to sell. I just felt like it was such a signature thing for us, and that we weren't trying to make money off of it, that we just buy them to give to our puppy owners. So we kind of enjoy doing it that way. But if you send me an email, then I'm assuming this is Andy. If you send me an email, Andy, then I will I'll get you guys one so you have one. But if you're talking about the big one that you saw on the video that we made a couple weeks ago, we bought them at PetSmart. I was gonna say something.
Will Heaven have blue eyes?
Yes, Heaven has blue eyes. Heaven is the white one. So the white one has pure blue eyes, and the red one has pure blue eyes. I'm not too sure on Hulk yet, and I'm pretty sure these three do not, but these two for sure are blue-eyed. And he's a kisser. This is Hercules. If you guys can see him, he's over here giving me kisses. Are you good? Kisses? Hi. 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 Dang, I wanted to say something. Oh, another idea. I want to know in the comments below, guys, can you please add some comments if you guys are interested in doing a gift unveiling. So somebody had asked us a few weeks ago if we received fan mail, and at first I was like, fan mail, that's kind of, it seemed odd to me, but then I saw at a Husky YouTube channel, they have unveilings where people send them like a toy, a new toy, could be a $2 toy, whatever. And they send a toy, and then we go live and we unveil it and we let all the dogs see it and check it out. And so anyways, I thought that was pretty cool, fun. I'm not looking to try to get all kinds of free toys, but I did think it was pretty cool. So if there's something you guys would like to see or be interested in being involved in, let me know, because I'm open to things. Again, I'm not trying to push things on anybody, but if it sounded cool, then maybe you guys want to do it. If not, no big deal. We can move on. So also, how many people have hit the thumbs up? Let us know. Where are we at?
66 and there's 72.
All right, so that's awesome. And some people might be on, but they are going backwards. So if you guys are joining now, just know that if you missed anything, you can always rewind back. So just hit the little scroll button. And so you guys asked earlier about if their little personalities are developing. Hercules, if you guys see that, he climbs up on me, he's licking all over me, now he's barking and jumping and flying. What was I saying?
Liking and
Oh.
scrolling back.
Yes, so a lot of people can scroll back, and so they might not be live, but you guys can also do that. So if you're live and you miss something, you can always scroll back and look at some of the old footage, and then come back forward. So people are probably doing that, Lex, and that's why they have done thumbs up. So
What sizes were the 2 full-grown dogs that came out?
so Nala is barely a mini. She's almost a toy, a little over 13 inches. And Simba is a standard, and he's around 16 inches. So we have a really small mini and a good size standard. And Simba's about 21 pounds. The last time I weighed Nala, she was maybe 10. I haven't weighed her in a little while. She's kind of skinny right now, so she's going through the funky teenagery phase where they get a little scrawny looking. So she'll probably top off at 12, maybe 13 pounds.
Will you continue to do the Q&As weekly, at least part of the time, even when the pups get older? It's so great to interact with you.
Yeah, I'm glad. Who asked that?
Catherine?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that, Catherine, because, we talk about this the last few weeks that we've been doing this, and I felt like, God, do we really still have stuff to talk about? But at the same time, we felt like this was really fun, and we enjoy it, and getting to know a lot of you guys, and also answering a lot of questions, and maybe people don't even know about the breed. And so I think we will. I think the goal will be to maybe mix it up and do a little of this and a little of that. So that's why I thought maybe we could do the grooming this week, so that way it's not just 2 hours of straight talk about same stuff we maybe have already gone over. So if I can combine it each week, then definitely I would like to. Of course, as the puppies get older, they're going to be a lot more active and rambunctious and loud, so it might be a little harder to do it all in the same area, but it's definitely something that we want to continue to do, because as long as you guys do, I mean, if you guys want to continue, then that's definitely what we're going to do, because we enjoy it as well.
We knocked it out of the park, and we're rock stars.
Thank you. Hey, you guys are awesome too. Like, if it wasn't for you guys, obviously we wouldn't be here, right? We wouldn't be able to do this if we didn't have anybody watching. So we appreciate you guys just as much as you guys appreciate us. And, to us, like, we know this stuff. We've been doing it a long time, and you guys don't understand or don't know. So as much as we can help you, we want to be able to help you, answer your questions, teach you guys about the breed, and give you guys tips, whatever we can to make the process a lot smoother for you, and also to make sure that you guys are successful at owning a Klee Kai, and that you know what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing, how to groom, how to crate train, how to potty train. So the more we can help you, the better, obviously, and that's better for the breed too, right? Because the more successful you are at raising a puppy, then the better behaved the Klee Kai is going to be, which means when you go out in public, more people are going to say, hey, what is that well-behaved dog? And then that'll just teach people about the breed. So it's beneficial for us just as much as it is for you, because we don't want the breed to have a bad reputation. And if we can teach you and give you guys the tools, then you guys will be great owners, and you'll teach your puppies, and then everyone's going to love the breed whenever they learn about them. So.
Christine said it would be cool to see you train Nala or Rue.
Okay. Yeah, I thought of that too, and Rue's really easy, so we could do that, but she has little puppies. And then Nala we can definitely do. She's pretty smart. So is Simba, by the way, and that's something where we can get them. But when we do that, we won't be able to have puppies, because as you saw with the grooming, as soon as they see the puppies, then it's like, they want the puppies. So we can definitely do that. We'll just have to put the puppies away before we do that. Or do them first and then bring puppies, probably better. So definitely, that's a good idea. Maybe we can do that next week. And if you guys have any other ideas, let me know. And then we can try to come up with what's best, whoever has the most.
I'm looking for a pure white double blue-eyed puppy. How long could I be on the wait list?
If you're not on our list already, it could be 2 years. I'm just being honest. Like, so for one, the whites we don't get them as often, right? And then of course they would have to have blue eyes. So we don't get them as often. We have a really long waiting list right now. The breed has really skyrocketed over the last couple of months, partly because it's just a new breed and people are starting to hear about it, and with the coronavirus, everybody's home and everybody's doing research and trying to find a puppy. But part of it is also, if you guys aren't aware, Bill Belichick has a Klee Kai from the Patriots. He's the head coach for the Patriots football team. And it kind of went viral because his dog Nike was sitting at the desk while they were doing the draft. And it looked really cool because he was just sitting there like looking at the computer as if he was picking the draft players. And so it kind of went viral. And then the Klee Kais were in the Sports Illustrated just recently. And so now it's like more and more people are learning about the breed. So as more people learn about the breed, the more popular it gets, the more overwhelmed all of us breeders get, because we just get inundated with emails and phone calls and text messages and social media messages. So it could be a while.
We have 2 minutes.
Yay! So that was good. I wanted to say thank you guys for joining us. If you guys have any last minute questions, dump them in now. So that way we can end at 8, and then of course we'll see you guys next week. And then imagine a week from now, like you guys remember them last week and how tiny they were, and they weren't even moving. They were just laying on the heating pad, and now you can see them starting to be vocal and bite and play and get up and climb on us, huh? Yeah, don't lay in the pee. Don't lay in the pee. So next week will be even awesomer, because guess what? They'll really be all over the place. You'll see them next week. Vocal, barking, chewing, playing with their toys. We good? No questions? No, right?
How long is the wait list for a red blue-eyed?
So our waiting list is hard to predict, because we're dealing with Mother Nature, right? If you've got litters of 1 or litters of 6, so that plays a big part. Then, especially if you have specific traits that you're looking for, colors, sex, all of that stuff, it could be several months, and then so it really just depends how many people ahead of you are already waiting for a red puppy, how many people don't want a red puppy and you do. It's really hard to say. We don't give out numbers of how many people are on our list. We are at this point saying it could be up to 18 months for a puppy. If you're looking for a white, possibly even 2 years because we don't get them as often.
We just have a whole lot of thank yous.
Yay! All right, I think I'm sure it's 8.
Barely.
Okay, so we are right on time. I want to say thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will see you next week. If you're on our list, make sure you guys check out your email because I did send you new puppy photos, and I appreciate you guys. Make sure you give it a thumbs up if you haven't already. Make sure you guys subscribe to our channel, and until next time,